Last year, CPA Australia turned 125 years old, and we were looking for a way to celebrate this time, this 125 years. And we tossed up who were the great leaders that we can remember in our generation, and we came up with all sorts of amazing names. But we came across a name called Neil Armstrong. Does everyone know who Neil Armstrong is? And the fact is, everyone knows who Neil Armstrong is, and no one in this room, bar a couple, even were there when he landed on the moon. And I sat with my staff just to prove to you that I commit to keeping on dreaming, and I continue to dream myself. I said to them, it'd be really fantastic if we could get Neil Armstrong to Australia. And they said, Neil Armstrong doesn't do that. He doesn't speak publicly at all, if ever. He's done one or two very short interviews in his life. Why would he do that for CPA Australia? And I said, if you can find him, I'm convinced I can influence him to come. So I met him at a lunch, one-on-one, and talked to him. And I said to him, you know, I think young people are viewing leadership today where a lot of leaders don't have the courage to chase a vision and be willing to fail in chasing that vision. And I said, when you got in basically that tin can and went to the moon and came back, you did that with virtually less technology than what all of you have in your mobile phones. And I think you need to come and talk to people about it, because I think we've forgotten about that. So he agreed. I also knew that his father had been an auditor. That was my secret weapon, that I could relate to that. And so he came to Sydney last year, and at my insistence he did 4 things. He spoke to students first. He spoke to a group of students, and I just watched them interact, which was fantastic. He did a session with business leaders. He did a public session, and then he did an interview with me that will air in next month. Now, the reason I give you that example is because getting Neil Armstrong to Australia last year was about as remote as the sun coming out in Brisbane on a bad day. Right? It was very, very remote. But, you know, it's only remote if you decide it's remote. And so there'll be a whole lot of things that you know you want to do. And if we never meet again, I want you to remember 2 things. I want you to remember the black box and the self-belief, and that no one takes that from you. And secondly, that anything you decide you want to do, within reason, is achievable. And if you chase a dream and you actually don't quite get there, but you learn a whole lot of things about what it takes to get to a dream, then by the time you get to your next dream, you'll be much better at getting there. I'm an old guy, but I still have a total number of dreams that I know I'm going to continue to try and chase. And I think that's your duty and your responsibility, particularly when you're young and you're beautiful. Take advantage. When you're old and ugly, you don't have any inherent advantage other than this thing called experience. So I'm trying to share a bit of that experience with you, and I'm asking you not to waste your youth and your imagination, because they are your greatest friend and should stay with you for the whole of your life.